Good evening, Whalawhaiatu, and welcome to tonight's bulletin of BCN News. Leading our news tonight, Niue will receive $7.8 million from a total funding of just under $50 million from the Green Climate Fund to enhance climate information and knowledge service for resilience program. At its 27th board meeting on the 10th of November, the Green Climate Fund GCF approved the submission of $49.9 million program. This is the United Nations Environment Programme's first multi-country program initiative in the Green Climate Fund and will cover the Cook Islands, Niue, Palau, the Republic of Marshall Islands and Tuvalu, countries with some of the world's smallest and most dispersed populations surrounded by vast ocean areas. In a statement to BCN News, Premier Tangilangi said that the benefits of this project will impact greatly on the continued efforts of the Niue people to building a safer, more resilient Niue to impacts of climate change and towards achieving sustainable livelihoods for the Pacific. The new program aims to develop climate science and information services that are essential for sustainable development, environmental management, disaster risk reduction, food security, health services, water resource management, and energy efficiency. After winning at the national secondary competitions in September this year, 14-year-old Ramsey Edwards has done it again, winning bronze and setting a new record for under-15s at the New Zealand National Olympics weightlifting competitions held in Tauranga over the weekend. BCN News spoke to her mother, Carol Edwards, about her daughter's achievements. Mrs. Edwards says that the goal for Ramsey now is aiming to compete at the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Carol told us that it has been tough not being able to be with her daughter during these big competitions.
I think that question is how any other parent would be feeling, and that's sad that the borders are not open and I cannot go and see her lift. It's the second competition that I've missed, and this one was a major competition, and I'm only grateful that we have a good Niuean community down there in Tauranga, and she had a lot of family that was able to travel down from Auckland to see her lift.
Ramsey Edwards has 2 more tournaments before the end of the year, including an online tournament with lifters here in Niue. Even though she is living in New Zealand at the moment, but she is still lifting for Niue. The online tournament will see her lifting with the Niue-based lifters, including her friend Chrysaline Sipeni. Ms. Rhonda Siakia is the government's new communications officer. The position was advertised in early September. The communications officer will be based with the Secretariat of the Public Service Commission and also with the Secretary to Government and other heads of departments. This position was funded by New Zealand under the Institutional Strengthening and Governance Program. It's that time of the year for the NCEA exams, which started on Sunday over the weekend with the physics exam. 80 students from Niue High School in years 11, 12 and 13 will be sitting their NCEA exams this year. The exams are being held at the lecture room at the University of the South Pacific campus next door to the school. There are usually 2 exams in a day. The morning exam starts at 9 a.m. and the afternoon exams at 2 p.m. Niue High School, along with the Education Department, look forward to the cooperation of the public to ensure that the exams are run smoothly. The final exam will be on the 8th of December with the social science paper. Staying with Niue High School, which has come under heavy public scrutiny recently over the treatment of a 13-year-old student by a teacher. The incident was first made known on social media last week. Here's more on that story.
And that's the saddest thing about this whole thing. I always felt that a child's education is paramount. It's very important that they go to school. After the incident last Friday, he's refused to go to school. In fact, he wants to go back to New Zealand. But I'm working on my son. I've given him assurances, and I've told him that there's a lot of good people here in Niue, and this little incident shouldn't really deter him from his dreams of living here, staying here for the rest of his life. Yeah.
According to Mr. Ikinepule, the issue was with his son's hair. The Niuean tradition of the male members of the family growing their hair for the first year after the passing of the father was significant to his son. The concerns for his hair and his uniform was discussed between Mr. Ikinepule and the principal, but this has been an issue for some teachers at the school. Mr. Ikinepule took to Facebook and aired his views, receiving hundreds of comments supporting his post, but he decided to take the post down. Nearly 2 weeks ago, his 13-year-old son was asked by the teacher to leave the class and to walk home in the middle of the school day. The student from Hakupu was seen walking towards his village by a motorist who found him upset and took him to family in Alofi. BCN News was contacted by concerned elders from the village of Hakupu this week that this student now does not want to return to school.
I went to the principal, I went to the director of education, but you never really know the full extent until you sit down with your son and then he tells you that it's been going on for quite a while. Now that riled me. That made me very, very angry that it has happened. I didn't think it would happen here, and especially to my boy. So my concern and the most important thing for me now is my son's welfare, and for him to get back to what he loves, which is Niue. Not many people, not many kids in New Zealand, born in New Zealand, want to come back and live here. He's a good example of a little young man who wants to come back home. So my message, as I run youth prevention suicide for our Niuean youth back in Auckland, I'm at the forefront of that fight. So you can understand my concerns, and I had to hold back. But that night I lost a little bit, obviously. But I've had some time to reflect and to think, and now finding out that this is not an isolated incident. Apparently, if it's a culture here at Niue High School, it has to be addressed.
BCN News reached out to the Director of Education, Mrs. Bertha Tongahai, who said that the department will issue a statement once she has received the incident report from the principal of the school. The Minister of Education, Honourable Sauni Tongatule, in response to BCN queries, said that he supports the decisions of the department, and like the director, he is also satisfied with the handling of the situation by the school.
There are wonderful teachers at high school. Some good teachers, and I respect them all. But unless you've been through what my son and I has been through in the last couple of weeks, I'm even I feel a bit funny now walking around knowing what I've done, but after getting a lot of private emails and a lot from people here in Niue, support here in Niue, and a lot of the expat Niueans. I'm thinking that this culture has to stop. It has to stop somewhere, and I hope my hope and prayer is that the principal or the education here in Niue would deal with this to avoid and prevent this from happening to another parent and another child.
Sharing the message and raising awareness on the negative impacts of non-communicable diseases is the theme of a walk, run and cycle around the island, an initiative of the Tuapa Group Fitness, which took place last Friday. BCN cameras caught up with them at Hakupu and Avaseli. More than 30 participants took part, and others from other villages joined in solidarity with the Tuapa Group Fitness to promote awareness of the effects of a non-active lifestyle on our health. An estimated 53% of the island population have some form of non-communicable disease. The organisers of the Round Island event say that this is a demonstration of their commitment to their long-term goals and reaffirm their vision of a better, healthier and prosperous life on Niue. And Ilana's Bakery reopened over the weekend on Sunday. It is now located at Amanao, next door to the Pacific Way Bar. We spoke to Sylvain, the owner, today, who told us that it has been 2 years renovating the space so they can set up again. The owner of the temporary space they were operating from needs that space. He is very happy that they are now up and running, primarily to stock and sell their breads, but also to provide other home essentials. Mr. Vare says that he and his family have been saving money to relocate to this place, and they are very happy to finally have it set up again. One of the smallest villages on the island is the village of Niue. They held their annual show day last Saturday. The show is organised and held by the women of the village, a testament to the hard-working women of Niue. The Minister of Social Services, the New Zealand and Australian High Commissioners, and some members of Parliament also attended the day. Minister Tongatule commended the efforts of the women of Niue to put on a show day, despite the fact that there are very few of them. The minister said that villages in Niue are treated the same, regardless of their size. He encouraged the Niue Women's Group to apply for government assistance for women's groups, because these resources are there to help the women. Mrs. Puini Taufitu was very happy to welcome the dignitaries, saying that she is so happy that they were there to join them celebrate their show day, because they did not send out invitations. She said that they are humbled by their presence there. And that's our bulletin of BCN News for tonight. Join me again for our bulletin in Wangahau Niue. Until then, good night.